สวัสดีครับโทษทีลิงก์อันก่อนมันเสียไงไม่รู้เลยต้องแชร์ใหม่นะครับเดี๋ยวรอเพื่อนๆแป๊บหนึ่งสวัสดีครับเดี๋ยวรอเพื่อนๆเข้ากันมาหน่อยนะตอนนี้มา6 คนแล้วเนาะเดี๋ยวรอสักแป๊บนะมา7แล้ว while we waiting for your friends, I'd like to ask you to think about what kind of vehicle that you would like to do for the design assignment in this subject. It must be electric vehicle, but it can be any type of vehicles uh, except bus or truck. Okay, it's smaller than that, you can do it for the design assignment. You can do for special purpose vehicle, okay, like a van um, or sedan, MPVs, compact vehicle for some special purpose or anything. While waiting for your friend, maybe you start thinking about this, and maybe you can share your idea with me. Because today we should decide what kind of vehicle will be your design assignment, and different group can do the different vehicle. Okay. Because today I will we have two main topics today. The first topic is about review about suspension design, and second one is about the assignment for the conceptual design. Actually, we have two assignments inside. First one is about the benchmarking, and the second one is about the conceptual design. Do you have any kind of vehicles that you would like to design? You can share with me and your friends here before we start. Okay, how many you have for the class? Okay, I think we have more than half of students here. So we'd like to start now. Okay, first I would like to update about this the study the studies program in the syllabus. Again, that you can see we are now in the week 7, and you can see that from after this week, there's no more review or lecture, but it will be comments for your works. Okay, this means I will give you assignment, and you follow the instruction and make your, for example, this time is conceptual design, and we will evaluate you every week. Okay. Next week is on Friday. There will be the commencement day, but for the bachelor degree, it's not on the Friday. So I guess that we still be able to do the online class anyway. So next week you have to present the first draft of your conceptual design progression. And after midterms week, we have the presentation for your conceptual design, and this will be great. Okay. We don't have midterm exam for this subject, but you have to do conceptual design and present after the midterm week. Okay, and after that, you will proceed your work to the system design. Okay, the system design. So as we talked on the first week of this class, that you divide into groups, and I remember that you said you already made a group. So from now on, you have to work closely in your groups, and you should decide who will do which systems in your vehicles design. Okay. As I informed you before, that you will have several systems. For example, body and structures groups, and powertrain, suspension, steering, and brake. Some extra work actually will be included in related to many systems. For example, ergonomic and cockpit, This will concern with many group, for example, body and structures, steering, because you concern with the cockpit, and powertrain and brake also have to concern with this. Okay, because when you design for your steering, you have to consider for the ergonomics, and you have to know about where is your consoles. And also for others group, you have to know about where is your pedals. Okay. And push out the seat. Oh, sorry. Okay, so everything has to be considered in the ergonomics of the vehicles. So it's concerned with many groups. Okay, maybe only suspension that not concerned much about ergonomics, but actually you have concern with the ergonomic as well, because when you design for the layout of the vehicles, suspension part may have the effect on the space in your vehicles, both in the front and the back part of your vehicles, and it has the impact in the design of the cockpit as well. So suspension still has something to do with ergonomics and the cockpit design. Okay, you have to work together with your friends. So in these 5 groups, you have to decide who will be in which groups. Okay, and number of people in the groups. Okay, I can say that the maximum for number of people in the groups for the body and structure is 3. Suspension is 3. Steering is 2. Brake is 1. Powertrain is maybe 2. I'm not sure how many people in your group is. For this, you have about 11. You have 12. You have to consult with me about how about extra one should be in which group. Okay, this is the numbers of members in each systems in your groups. Okay, so this week you will have some score. Okay, and you have to present every week. Okay, the week after that you have to present the progress for the system design. We let you present progress for 2 times for 2 weeks, because you take time for designing the system. Okay, so we let you have mini progress presentation. We let you present for the draft of the system design for 3 weeks. And along 3 weeks, we give you the next assignment about the component design that concerning with the detailed designs of the component inside your systems, as well as the analysis of the strength of your components using the finite element method. Okay. Okay, so you can see that you will have score again in the 13 week. Okay, you have to present your final version of your system design, and we give you score. Okay, and also some show the progress of the content design too. Okay, and the last week on the 14 weeks, you have to decide, present your final design. And we keep the score. But this is not yet the final exam. Okay, you still have time to complete your work until the final exam date that will be around the mid of December. Okay. The design report due date has already selected to be on the December 18. And as a final design, but before you have the final presentation exam, you have to submit the final draft version. Okay, I will let you correct something after the presentation exam. Okay, and in the presentation exams, you will present your work to me and Ajahn Sahapot, and we ask some questions like oral exams. And in the oral exams, you will be only one student, okay, in the exams. Okay, it's a one-by-one exams. So it takes time for your final exam. Do you have any question about what I explained for the plan for our class after this week? มีคำถามอะไรไหมครับเกี่ยวกับแผนการเรียนของเราหลังจากสัปดาห์นี้ You can see that for assessment, evaluation of the design assignment, which is conceptual design, system design, and component design has 30%. That's quite big numbers. Okay. And every week that you present your progression of works, you also have points, but smaller than that. About 3% per week. And you still have another one is a homework or assignment from each instructor for 10%. And final exam totally is about 45%. Presentation and oral exam is 20%, and the final design report is about 25%. Okay. เอ้าเงียบกันหมดเลยมีอะไรสงสัยไหมไม่มีเลย
อาจารย์ครับ
ครับ
กลุ่มมีไม่ได้ถึง11นะครับ
ตอนนี้ประมาณกี่คนครับตอนนี้ที่เราเซตกันได้
9ครับ
อ๋อที่ผมบอกไปเมื่อกี้the number is a maximum so we can like reduce number per groups per system in the group นะโอเค for example you have 9 people นะsystem นะ you have body structures Okay, you have 9, maybe 1. 4, 5, 6. Okay. Something like this. Last semester, there are some new manners of students. Some students work for 2 systems because of their own interest. They work in 2 systems It's also acceptable, but you have to inform me first. If you have 9, maybe you have something like this, body structures, maybe 2 or 3. Okay. Powertrain about 2, suspension 2 or 3, steering 1, brake 1. So I have about 9. We have 10. You can have like body structure 3, suspension 3. Okay ไหม
ขอบคุณครับ
ครับก็ I think you should submit me your members whose we work for which system นะ before next week นะ and how about vehicle? What type of vehicle do you interested in the design? One constraint is EV and not a big one นะไม่เอา bus นะ no bus or heavy truck นะเราไม่เอานะ It's because I try not to let you do truck and bus because it's too big and some system is hard to find for the information or the commercial parts as your design information. So it's better to do a smaller one. ลอง discuss กันหน่อยไหมเราอยากทำรถอะไรกัน which type of vehicle
อาจารย์ครับทุกกลุ่มต้องทำรถประเภทเดียวกันใช่ไหมครับ
ไม่จำเป็นครับ you can do different one but I would like to know your idea first what is your interesting vehicle type or segment or use case that you would like to because we will not like okay we do sedan it's not enough we would like to know about your vehicle type then segment use case what is different between segment and use case and also type it will be like okay sedan SUV hatchback coupe sport okay it's about type right MPV PPV even pickup truck is okay na segment is about A B C D E okay as you know it's about size or positioning of the market the use case is about how is the objectives to use these vehicles what is your customer or your market target or even special usage like is the share vehicles what kind of usage of the share vehicles you will use for these vehicles for example if you said okay we would like to do something like hammock use case about is a share hammock is a share ultra small EV okay so to design the share ultra small EV you have to know about the requirement for this service or business that will be in your car design. For example, how many seats you need. You need the full size or small size or ultra small size for this usage. Okay, how many seats you need, what kind of performance you need. Okay, you can see that from this, it reflects to your conceptual design. Because in your conceptual design, you need to decide for the design specification. Okay, this is important things to do. in the conceptual design spec. For design specification, you have to decide, for example, for the performance of the car. Okay, it's like how is a Vmax in kilometers per hour. Okay, let's say for share ultra small EVs, we don't need much Vmax speed. Okay, let's say 80 kilometers per hour. How is the range in kilometers? Okay, the different use case require different range. For example, if you design the EV for the general purpose for your customers to use, like to drive every day, home to work, weekend from home to some sightseeing around towns, maybe 300 kilometers around Bangkok. Then you have to decide, okay, how much the range you need for these vehicles. Okay, some students used to work on the EV for sightseeing, but it's not for your individual use at home. But it's like you can hide that EV in some national park and use in the national park. So you should know that, okay, how is the distance that the tourist may drive per day or per chart in that national park. Okay, so you need to know your use case, then you can decide about your require in the range. Okay, and also you need, okay, acceleration performance. And then from this, you will do further in terms of design specification for powertrain. How is the motor size? How is the battery's capacities? Okay, how is your drive patterns from motor to wheels? And so on. Okay, so, and then when in the system design, have to do design for the in details of the calculation to know exactly what's the size of model you need. And you have to evaluate your design, like test with many scenarios that your model has enough torque and power to cover that with scenarios. Or you can test that, okay, from the detail in the calculation, you can check for the precise number of the range, okay, because you have to decide for the size of your battery in kilowatt hours. Then you know about the usage, how is the energy consumption, and then you can evaluate for your range design. Okay. For suspension or other systems, either conceptual design, you have to link to the use case too. For example, if you design the vehicles that in the sport market, you have to think about good handling, okay, than the good comfort. So the suspension design will aim for the good handling that will be in the type of suspension you choose for front and rear. Okay, and how to design for the battery, the spring and dampers in your vehicles. The value will be different from the vehicles that you need more comfort than the handlings. Okay, or even the suspension type. Okay, you may choose, for example, double wishbone. For your front, or rear, you choose the wishbone as well, or multi-link. But if you design the vehicle for the compact one, and the handling is not the high priorities. Okay, just good handlings for the normal driving is enough. Maybe you can change the type of suspension, for example, from front as a double wishbone to be MacPherson strut, and rear maybe you can choose like MacPherson strut or twist beam or something that give you more space for the rear part of your vehicle. So you have to think about it first. To think about this is called vehicle layout and packaging. Okay, because from the use case of your vehicles, you come up with the design specification. But the design specification is just the spec that cannot be seen for the connection to each others. So if you do the vehicle layout, you can see some interaction or relation from many systems or parts in your vehicles. For example, if you have a small vehicle, you try to do the small vehicles with 2 seats. You have to decide about the space in your vehicles. Which space is spare for the cockpit that has 2 seats? How is your drivetrain patterns? Okay, it will be front wheel drive or rear wheel drive or all wheel drive. If you choose front wheel drive, where is your motors? Your motors can be like at the front wheel, drive the front wheel, or the motor can be at the rear wheel and drive the front wheel. It depends on your design. Okay, and when you look from the front view of the vehicles, you can see the wheels, the suspensions. Different types of suspension give you different space. For example, if you have the MacPherson strut here, you have like this one, and then you have to do like, okay, where's motors? Where's the differential gears? Where's the drive shaft? Where's steerings? Okay, so you have to like sketch for the layout and the packaging and check that it can be fit in your dimension of the car or not, because you have to decide for the dimension of the car, the width, the length, the height, the wheelbase. Okay, so packaging layout is very important, because after that you will use this as the start point of your system design. Every subsystem in your team will use this as the same information if that every system share together. For example, if you design and found that, oh, my first conceptual about the drive pattern need to be changed in the detail of system design, you have to inform your friend immediately, because it may affect to other groups. For example, it affects to body structure group or suspension groups. So you have to work closely between your groups. Okay, this is about the rough ideas that I like to share first. So what type segment or use case that you are interested in? ลองแชร์กันหน่อยสิอาจจะยังไม่ต้องไฟนอลแบบ 100% เนาะแต่อยากจะเห็นไอเดียนิดนึงผมจะได้ช่วย I can try to give more examples or we can discuss in detail so you can get more ideas นะตอนนี้เรามีกี่กลุ่มนะ how many group we have 4 ป่ะหรือว่า 3 เรามีกี่กลุ่มนะ
ตอนนี้น่าจะ3 ครับ
3โอเคขอตัวแทนกลุ่มทั้ง3กลุ่มหน่อยสิ we need some volunteer give some idea นะ start to think and talk then we can have some information and idea to work later นะตอนนี้ยังไม่มีชื่อกลุ่มใช่ไหมมียัง any name of groups already decide
ยังไม่มีครับผม
งั้นเราเรียกเป็นอะไรกลุ่ม1กลุ่ม2กลุ่ม3แล้วใครอยู่กลุ่ม1กลุ่ม2กลุ่ม3ดีไหมเอาไงดีผมถามอันนี้เดี๋ยวนะเมื่อกี้เราคือคนไหนวะเมื่อกี้ที่ทูตออกมานี่ลืมดูชื่อเมื่อกี้ใครนะ
ป้องพบครับ
อะไรนะก้องพบเหรอ
ป้องพบครับ
ป้องพบอยู่กลุ่ม1ไปเลยเพื่อนที่อยู่กลุ่มเดียวกับป้องพบก็คืออยู่กลุ่ม1นะในชื่อนี้คุณใช้อะไรวะป้องพบเจอแล้วเดี๋ยวผมเขียนได้กันนะกลุ่ม1นะครับคือกลุ่มป้องพบแล้วกันนะมีใครไม่ได้อยู่กลุ่มเดียวกับป้องพบบ้างแสดงตัวหน่อยจะได้เป็นกลุ่ม2กลุ่ม3
มีกลุ่มลุงทอมกลุ่มหนึ่งค่ะอาจารย์
เดี๋ยวนะชื่ออะไรนะครับ
ลุงทอมค่ะ
เดี๋ยวนะอันนี้คุณใช้ชื่อว่าอะไรเนี่ยหาไม่เจอเดี๋ยวแป๊บนึง
ซูมชื่อนันทพัฒน์ค่ะ
นรพัฒน์เหรอไม่ใช่
นันทพัฒน์ค่ะ
นันทพัฒน์นะเจอแล้วจะมีชื่อกลุ่มแล้วเหรอ
มีแล้วค่ะ
ชื่ออะไรนะ
ลุงทอมค่ะ
ลุงทอมทำไมต้องลุงทอม
เพราะมีลุงอยู่คนหนึ่งในกลุ่มค่ะ
เอาล่ะแล้วลุงทอมอยู่ไหมตอนนี้ Where are you ลุงทอม
ครับผมอาจารย์
ลุงทอมอยู่เหรอชื่ออะไรเนี่ยลุงทอมชื่ออะไรเนี่ย
แต่ผมไม่ใช่ลุงครับอาจารย์ผมชื่อกิตติพัฒน์ครับ
กิตติพัฒน์แหมดีไม่เป็นลุงพลนะลุงทอมหน้านี้
ครับอาจารย์
how about group number 3มีใครไม่อยู่2กลุ่มนี้บ้าง1กับ2แสดงตัวหน่อยมีไหมกลุ่ม3
ครับกลุ่ม3ครับ
ชื่ออะไรครับ
กลุ่มรันกันนะครับ
ไม่เอาชื่อเราก่อน
ชื่อกิตภาสครับ
กิตภัทรไม่ใช่กิตภัทรใช่ไหมกิตภาส
ครับ
คนละคนกับกิตภัทรกิตติพัฒน์ใช่ไหมกิตภาสนะครับเขียนไงวะเดี๋ยวนะ
เขียนเหมือนกันแต่เป็นตัว S ตรงลงท้าย
โอเคชื่ออะไรดีกลุ่มนี้
อะไรก็ได้
ไปคิดอีกทีก็ได้ไม่เป็นไรอันนี้แค่จะได้รู้ว่ากลุ่มไหนก่อนเนาะ 1 2 3นะเดี๋ยวชื่อกลุ่มค่อยไปคิดทีหลังก็ได้ you can film it later โอเค group 1 2 3นะ I would like to know your ideas about vehicles that you're interested in the design เอากลุ่ม1ก่อนแล้วกันน่าจะมีเวลาคิดมากกว่าเพื่อนตอนนี้ ไงป้องพบและเพื่อนๆตอนนี้มีกี่คนในเนี้ยกลุ่ม1
กลุ่มหนึ่งมี9 คนครับ
ไม่ตอนที่อยู่ตอนเนี้ยออนไลน์เนี่ย ลองบอกไอเดียที่อยากทำมาก่อนก็ได้ครับไม่อันนี้อาจจะไม่ใช่ final นะ not the final one but your idea first or I give you some minutes to discuss and then we let you explain หรือเอาไงดีหรือจะเอาเลยหรือจะอยากได้เวลาไหมล่ะ
ขอเวลาหน่อยก็ได้ครับ
10 minutes นะ
ตอนนี้อาจารย์ต้องการอะไรบ้างนะครับ
เอา3 อย่างแล้วกันเอา use case ก่อน use case นะแล้วก็ vehicle type แล้วก็ถ้ารู้ segment ด้วยก็โอเคเอาแค่2 อย่างพอ use case สำคัญสุดเนาะใช้ทำอะไรแล้วก็ vehicle type ที่จะใช้ use case นั้นคืออะไรต้องเป็น EV no bus ก็ heavy truck นะไม่เอานะแค่นั้นแหละให้เวลา10 นาทีให้เบรกแล้วกันแล้วก็ในระหว่างเบรกก็คุยกันเนาะแล้วเดี๋ยวกลับมาเจอกันแล้วบอกผมมาหน่อยเนาะเดี๋ยวเอาสัก10:10เดี๋ยวประมาณนะ15แล้วกันเดี๋ยวไม่พอนะเอา15ก็ได้นะโอเคผมไม่ได้ปิดซูมแล้วกันเนาะก็เปิดไปแล้วคุณก็ลองคุยกันในโซเชียลมีเดียอะไรก็ได้ หรือจะคุยผ่านในนี้ก็ได้นะไม่เป็นไรให้เพื่อนคนอื่นได้ยินด้วยก็ได้โอเค Now for use case, maybe you can like starting with who will be the customers or who use this car, where to use this car, and what's purpose. And then maybe you can sum up with like what kind of service or business that concern with these vehicles. Or you just say that, okay, for the general use vehicle for the customers, something like that. Okay. Type segment can be like sedan, hatchback. It's about type, nah? SUV, MPV, van, pickup. Segment is about size. Segment is about size, for example, ultra small, small, compact, medium size, large size, something like that. Or luxury, luxury, sport, also the segment. Okay, let's discuss. Okay, I will be back in 10 minutes. Okay. How is your ideas? How about group number 2? How about ลุงทอม
ค่ะ
เป็นไงบ้างไอเดียลองแชร์หน่อยสิ
คิดไว้ว่าจะเป็นทำ compact EV สำหรับ first jobber อะค่ะ
เดี๋ยวนะ I will note นะ group 2 นะอะไรนะ
ทำ compact EV สำหรับ first jobber อะค่ะ
คนจบใหม่เนาะ
ค่ะ
jobber อย่างงี้ป่ะไม่รู้ jobber ไม่รู้ไงประมาณนี้why ทำไมถึงเลือกอันนี้ล่ะ
เพราะว่ามีไว้รองรับสำหรับคนที่แบบจบใหม่ฉะนั้นมันก็จะเป็นคันเล็กที่ราคาไม่แพงมากแล้วก็ขับใช้ในเมืองระยะทางไม่ไกลประมาณนี้ค่ะ
อันนี้ผมถามแบบเหมือนกลัวเลยนะ แล้วทำไมแล้วเราจะไปแข่งกับ compact รถ compact ที่มันไม่ใช่ EV ได้ยังไงสำหรับ first jobber เราก็มีคู่แข่งใช่ไหม
ค่ะ
เรามีจุดแข็งไงของเรา
จุดแข็งของเรา เพื่อน
ไม่ต้องเสียค่าน้ำมันครับ
ก็ถูก
เอาเสียบไฟชาร์จอย่างเดียว ใช้ไม่ไกลด้วย
แล้วสมมุติว่าราคาล่ะคุณคิดว่าราคามันจะอยู่แถวไหน
ถ้าช่วงแรกน่าจะสัก800,000มั้งคะแบบแสนกลางๆปลายๆอะไรอย่างเงี้ย
คือ price positioning เนี่ยเป็นสิ่งสำคัญนะ ตอนนี้รถ EV ที่ถูกที่สุดในเมืองไทยราคากี่บาทรู้ไหมเอาแบบจดทะเบียนได้วิ่งได้ทั่วไปนะไม่เอาพวกรถจีนคันละ8-9 หมื่นแสนกว่าไม่เอานะเอาแบบจดทะเบียนได้คิดว่าเท่าไหร่ถูกสุด
ส่วนใหญ่ที่เคยเห็นมันจะประมาณ2 ล้านหรือเปล่าคะอาจารย์แบบพวกนิสสันลีฟ
พูดถึงนิสสันลีฟนะ2 ล้านนะถูกคือราคาขายราคาแรกแล้วเขาก็ลดไปเหลือ1.5 ล้านไปแล้วเรียบร้อยใช่ไหมได้ข่าวว่าล่าสุดจะลดเหลือ1.3 ล้านแล้วขายไม่ออกเพราะว่าแพงเกินใช่ไหม2 ล้านตอนนี้ถูกกว่านั้นอีกมีอะไรถูกสุดรู้จักรถชื่อฟอร์มไหม
600,000นะครับ
ประมาณ600,000แต่อันนี้มันเล็กมากเนาะก็คือเนี่ยประมาณ compact EV คุณเลยเนี่ยผมว่าคุณอาจจะเบสมากับฟอร์มได้นะเขาขาย600,000แต่ว่า is not included with battery นะนี่ไม่รวมราคาแบตเตอรี่ก็คือ you have to pay battery service monthly อะไรอย่างเงี้ยก็คือมันไม่ได้ซื้อแบตเตอรี่ขาดราคานี้เนาะ MG ZS EV เท่าไหร่ราคามันเท่าไหร่
1,200,000 ครับ
ใช่กลมๆ1.2 ล้านเนาะถ้าโปรโมชั่นตอนนี้ก็อาจจะมีพวก 0% หรืออะไรอย่างเงี้ยนะเยอะหน่อยถัดมาเป็นอะไรตอนนี้ก็อาจจะนิสสันลีฟเนาะประมาณ1.3 นี่คือ future price นี่คือรู้จักวงในมาราคา commercial จริงๆก่อนนั่นคือ1.5 ล้านแล้วที่เหลือก็เป็นรถยุโรปแล้วเนาะตอนนี้มีรถยุโรปอะไรที่เป็น EV ขายบ้างรู้ไหม
ไทคานครับไทคาน
แล้วมีอย่างอื่นอีกมีอะไรอีก
จากัวออดี
มินิ
ใช่เห็นไหมเริ่มเยอะแล้วไหมมาเพียบแล้วแล้วคราวเนี้ยไอ้ compact EV first chopper ของคุณเนี่ยมันแมทช์กับคันไหนบ้างอ่ะถ้าคุณจะเลือกมาทำ benchmarking อ่ะ
i3 อะค่ะ
i3 เรื่องไซส์เรื่องอะไรก็ดูโอเคนะแต่ราคานี่อาจจะเป็น first chopper แบบที่บ้านมีตังค์นิดหนึ่ง ใช่ไหมi3 ก็ใช่ด้วยเนาะใช่ไหมมีเยอะเลยเนาะมีจากัว iPace อะไรเต็มเลยคือที่ถามเนี่ยเพื่อที่จะให้คุณเหมือนกับได้เข้าใจถึงตลาดด้วยเนาะแล้วก็แต่ไอเดียนี้ผมโอเคนะผมชอบนะ compact EV for first chopper นี่ผมว่าผมบายไอเดียนะคุณต้องไปดีไซน์มาให้โดนใจผมอีกที ไม่เพราะว่าอันนี้เล่าให้ฟังเป็นเกร็ดแล้วกันเนาะคือตอนนี้ไอตลาด EV เมืองไทยเนี่ยถ้าเป็น BEV เนี่ยถือว่ามีเปอร์เซ็นต์น้อยอยู่ใช่ป่ะน้อยมาก PHEV ก็ประมาณหนึ่งส่วนใหญ่เป็นรถยุโรปใช่ไหมซึ่งเดี๋ยวเดือนหน้าจะมีเปิดตัวอีกเจ้าหนึ่งคือ MG HS จะเปิดตัว PHEV ตัวใหม่แล้วก็เดือนธันวาก็จะเป็น Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV เหมือนกันส่วน HEV ก็รู้อยู่แล้วเนาะก็มีเจ้าที่เปิดขายอยู่ตอนนี้มันมีมาตรการของเป็นนโยบายแล้วกันนะว่าในปี2030คืออีก10 ปีเนี่ยเราอยากมีรถที่เป็นไฟฟ้าแบบเสียบปลั๊กได้ขายในเมืองไทยประมาณ 30%ผลิตในเมืองไทย 30%ก็คือ BEV กับ PHEV รวมกันเนี่ยประมาณ 30% นะตอนนี้เมืองไทยผลิตรถกี่คันรู้ไหมปีหนึ่งมีใครรู้ข้อมูลไหม How is production volume per year in Thailand roughly นะ is about 2 million cars but capacity นะ in Thailand is about 2.5 million this means we produce car less than our maximum capacities if we guess that in 2030 we produce car about 2.5 million so 30% of 2.5 เท่าไหร่ 750,000 right will be plug-in vehicles BEV and PHEV นะ to reach to that point is we concern relate to your ideas if we cannot make EVs or PHEV in mass market it's hard to reach to 30% because only luxury segment cannot go to 30%. So if we cannot have some car like you are going to design in the market, we cannot achieve this goal. Now that's why I think your idea is good. Because from my analysis, if you have BEV in the price range about about 1 million, 0.8 to 1 million baht. It will be the main market that many people can afford. Less than this will be eco car like 500,000 baht. Oh, one more thing. MG will launch new model this year too for MG E5 that cost about 1 million baht. It's BEV. So MG, I think MG knows about the price structures that they could put their BEV product in. Okay, they know that if about 1 million, it's more affordable, more customer to buy than to 1.2 million baht price range นะโอเคกลุ่มนี้กลุ่มอื่นบ้างกลุ่มหนึ่งเป็นไงบ้างกลุ่มหนึ่ง How is your idea
ครับตอนนี้มันจะเป็น2ประตูคูเป้ครับแล้วก็จะอยู่ประมาณ D segment ครับเท่าพวกซีรีส์4คูปแล้วก็ use case ใช้สำหรับเป็นรถส่วนตัวครับของวัยรุ่นมีตังค์ครับขับในชีวิตประจำวันแล้วก็ระยะทางไม่ไกลมาก
EV Coupe 2 seat เลยใช่ไหมอันนี้มองเป็นโรสเตอร์หรือมองเป็นยังไง
เป็นไม่ได้เปิดหลังคาครับ
เป็นหลังคาแข็งเป็นคูปกับแข็งนะโอเค
ใช่ครับ
2 seats แล้วก็ B segment โอเคกลุ่มนี้ก็ชัดเจนดีเน้นคนมีตังค์เลยนะครับ
ดี segment ครับ
ดีเนาะโอเค sorry เบนช์มาร์กคืออะไรดีชัด4
พวกซีรีส์4กับ4คูปครับ
โอเคนะคืออยากให้เข้าใจว่าเราจะต้องไปเบนช์กับใครเบนช์มาร์กกับใครอย่างเงี้ยถ้าเขารู้ชัดเจนก็โอเคแล้วคิดว่าราคาประมาณเท่าไหร่คันนี้
ยังตกลงกันไม่ได้เลยครับ
ไม่เป็นไรไปดูที่หลังได้
3 ล้านถึง3 ล้านกลางๆครับ
มินิ EV นี่ถือว่าจะเป็นคู่แข่งไหม
น่าจะเล็กกว่านะครับ
ก็คือไม่ได้มองว่าเป็นคู่แข่งโดยตรงนะโอเค
ครับผม
ตอนนี้ในเมืองไทยที่เป็น EV ที่เป็นเซกเมนต์นี้มีอย่าง
เพื่อน
คือผมคิดว่ายังไม่มีนะแต่ว่าไม่รู้เผื่อเรารู้ว่ามี
น่าจะยังไม่มีครับผม
โอเคเราคิดว่าอันนี้ถามเล่นๆเนาะอย่างเบอร์2เนี่ยกลุ่ม2เนี่ยคิดว่าเรนจ์มันควรจะมาเท่าไหร่อันนี้แบบยังไม่ต้องไปเบนช์มาร์กนะอันนี้เป็นแค่ไอเดียของตัวเองก่อนไม่มีผิดไม่มีถูกเนาะอยากรู้เบื้องต้นก่อนอย่างเงี้ย EV range ของไอ้ First Chopper เขาแพ็ค EV ควรจะวิ่งได้สักกี่กิโลคิดว่าสักกี่กิโลดี
ของกลุ่ม2เหรอครับ
ใช่กลุ่ม2ก่อนเดี๋ยวกลุ่ม1เตรียมตอบเลยแล้วกัน
ครับผม
กลุ่ม2คิดว่าเท่าไหร่ดีครับ range งงเลย
100 โลไหม
100 โลก็คือคุณบอกว่าใช้ในเออร์เบิร์นใช่ไหม
เยอะไปไหมครับ
ลองจินตนาการ
100 โลค่ะ
ลองจินตนาการเนาะจินตนาการดูนะสมมติว่าอยู่ในเมืองคุณคิดว่าคุณขับรถประมาณไปกลับที่ทำงานสักวันละกิโล
maximum ไปกลับ40 โลค่ะ
40 โลแสดงว่าคุณควรจะชาร์จทุกวันไหมถ้าเกิดคุณมีรถเลส100 กิโล
ก็ควรจะชาร์จทุกวันค่ะ
แต่ถ้าวันไหนคุณพลาดไม่ได้ชาร์จเกิดนู่นนี่นั่นเสี่ยงไหม
เสี่ยงครับ
เสี่ยงค่ะ
คิดว่า100พอไหมถ้างั้น100ไม่น่าจะพอนะถูกไหม
ค่ะ
คืออันนี้เล่าให้ฟังนะขยะ MG SEV เนี่ยที่วิ่งได้ประมาณน่าจะ200ต้นนะก็มีอาจารย์ในคณะนี่แหละมีบางคนที่เจอกับตัวมาแล้ววิ่งหาที่ชาร์จเพราะเหมือนที่ชาร์จที่บ้านเสียแล้วพอมาชาร์จข้างนอกแล้วมันก็แบบเปลี่ยนแผนไปหมดเลยสุดท้ายแบบหนักอ่ะที่ชาร์จที่คณะทีก็ไม่ว่างบางทีก็ชาร์จได้ทีก็ชาร์จไม่ได้แต่วิ่งหาที่ชาร์จตรงนู้นตรงนี้เต็มไปหมดเลยอ่ะนะก็ ก็เลยเป็นที่มาว่าเลนส์ควรเป็นเท่าไหร่เนี่ยต้องคิดกันดีนะคือวิธีการหนึ่งที่ได้มันคือการทำเบนช์มาร์กแต่ว่าเราก็อยากให้แบบเหมือนเราคิดถึงคนใช้ไงว่าถ้าเราใช้รถแบบเนี้ยแล้วเรามีรถวิ่งได้แค่100 โลต่อการชาร์จ1 ครั้งมันรู้สึกปลอดภัยในการใช้ไหมหรือว่ารู้สึกsecure ไหมอะไรเงี้ยเนาะกลุ่มหนึ่งคิดว่าเลนส์รถคุณเท่าไหร่
น่าจะประมาณ400ครับ400 กิโล
เพราะว่าอะไรเพราะว่าเราอาจจะขับไปเที่ยวแถวทะเลรอบกรุงเทพอะไรอย่างนี้ใช่ไหมอย่างน้อยก็ต้องไปถึงก่อนอาจจะไปกลับไม่ได้ในบาง destination แต่ว่าอย่างน้อยก็ไปถึงแล้วชาร์จแล้วก็กลับมาได้400ก็ make sense แต่ว่าเดี๋ยวต้องดูในการดีไซน์ทีว่าการใส่แบตเตอรี่ขนาด400ที่วิ่งได้400 กิโลในรถนี้จะทำยังไงเนาะกลุ่ม3 how about your idea เป็นไงบ้าง
ครับก็อยากทำรถซีดานครับอาจารย์
ซีดานยังไง
เป็นรถซีดานเซกเมนต์ C ครับเป็นรถแนวครอบครัวครับผม
Family
ครับครอบครัวระดับกลางช่วงวัยแบบ30ครับกำลังเริ่มมีเงิน
30-40อะไรอย่างนี้เนาะโอเค
แล้วอยากเปลี่ยนรถอะไรอย่างเงี้ยครับ
แล้ว use case คือไงก็คือใช้ทั่วไปไม่ได้ว่ามี specific อะไรหรือเรามี
ครับก็ใช้ทั่วไปครับเป็นแนว passenger car ปกติครับกับทั่วไปเลยครับ
โอเคนะผมว่า3 กลุ่มนี้มีความชัดเจนของตัวเองค่อนข้างดีนะก็ถือว่าโอเคทั้ง3 กลุ่มเลยนะก็เนี่ยเดี๋ยวตอนทำ assignment ก็คุณก็ทำในรูปแบบที่คุณดีไซน์ตัดสินใจมาแล้วได้เลยนะครับหรือถ้าทำไปอยากจะเปลี่ยนก็ได้นะแต่บอกผมนิดนึงแล้วกันว่าจะเปลี่ยนนะครับเซฟไปก่อนเลยเซฟหน้านี้ไว้ก่อนโอเคOkay, next we will move on to มีแชทมาเว้ยเดี๋ยวนะลุงทอมโอเคแชทเก่านะครับ Okay, next let's see our assignment in the my course view I think you can see it now. Okay, I push many documents and information websites into my course view. Okay, for the suspension, I put 3 items in the lecture slides folders. I explain about this later on when we talk about suspension. Okay, I will talk about the assignment first. When you go to the assignment, you can see the assignment title, vehicle benchmarking, and conceptual design. Okay, when you click on that, you can see some instruction. Okay, we have two sub assignment inside. The first one is benchmarking. Second one is conceptual design. Actually, conceptual design is a bigger one. And the task assignment for benchmarking. Okay, I will ask you to define the target of benchmarking. That's about you did as we discussed. Okay, you know about your vehicles. Okay, segment, use case, type. Then you can select your benchmark vehicles to be close to your vehicles. Sometimes if you cannot find exactly same, you can benchmark to the vehicles that close to your segment. is also okay. Okay, clarify use case, the usage of the vehicles or type of vehicle. You already did it here. Okay. Second, you have to choose 4 vehicles, at least 4 vehicles for the benchmark. And you can find information from any sources, okay, from websites, from any. Okay, but you have to choose which items in the vehicles to be benchmarked. For example, which systems and which item inside the systems. Okay, that's about number 3 and number 4. And after you gather data, okay, from your benchmark vehicles and compare, okay, you need to summarize, okay, from number 5, you compare, then you summarize the data that you compare and decide your own data for the design specifications. For example, you have car A, B, C, and D as your benchmark vehicles, and this is your vehicles. Okay, we may have many items and systems to benchmark. For example, if you do benchmark about, for example, range per charge. Okay. Vehicle A, for example, you have the range about 300 kilometers per charge. The vehicle B has 250. Vehicle C, 400. Vehicle D, 350. So what is your range as a target for your design? Okay, target for your design is called the design specification. So how can you decide which range number should be your design target? คิดว่ามีไอเดียยังไงบ้างที่จะเลือกว่าเนี่ยเรามีเลขมาอย่างเงี้ยcar A has 300, B 250, C 400, D 350เราจะเลือกไง Someone said, okay, we go to the top. We always go to the tops. Okay, top is 400, we go 400. Or someone say, okay, we go minimum. Then you get 250. Or someone say, we do average, everything, and we get our design target. Which one is correct? อันไหนถูก เอามันดีสุดตลอดหรือเอามินิมัมหรือเอาเฉลี่ยหรือเอาอะไรดีคำตอบคือไม่มีข้อใดถูก 100% นะ any approach that has 100% correct because it depends on your use case as well, your market research as well. This is just reference data for you for the benchmark. It's a reference data. But if you know the information from the market research, it will be better. For example, if you ask some people in the target groups about range data, and they say, okay, we need 350 is enough for us. And you put 400, it should be okay. But you put like 200 or 250, it's not okay because you miss the requirement from the target groups. Okay, but if you put too much range, it will reflect to the cost because you need more battery, nah? And then you may not be able to reach for your price target. So nothing's come with best in all items. Nah? So you have to select or balance, okay, for each item in your vehicles. Now you may have many items to compare. Nah? For example, not only range but battery capacities, motors, torque max, motor power max. Then you can compare. Then you can choose your own, or acceleration performance from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. How many seconds? Okay. Okay. This is the first assignment about benchmarking. You compare in tables and choose your own design specification with supporting reason. Okay. And for the second assignment that's shown here is a conceptual design. Okay, you can continue your work from the first one because the benchmarking is a task that has to be done in the conceptual assignment. So you can continue your works from benchmarking. Okay, you have to actually this part concerns much with the conceptual design for the design specifications. Okay, the first one just compares is enough, but the second one you need design spec. Okay, with reason, and you can know your conceptual designs in system of cars and the criteria of it from the documents conceptual design rubrics. This is I post it in another section in the prepare for exam. Okay, so if you go there, you can see the folders exam preparations. And you click it, you can see the you can see the conceptual design rubric. Okay. When you click it, you can download the documents that is the rubric for the conceptual design. You can see that it has the subsystems. First one is powertrain. Second one is body structures. Third one is suspension and brake. And the last one is steering and vehicle integration. You can see that in each system has the details of what you should do in the conceptual design with the criteria that you can get the excellent point if you can do cover all of this, or just certify if you cover this and fail if you cannot do. Okay, so for example, powertrain. So the people in the powertrain groups should focus on this. Okay. Here you can see that, okay, we have the number one, specify all important performance specifications for EVs and discuss against the benchmarked vehicles. And you can get excellent if you can get all specs against benchmark vehicles. You can get some specs, okay, maybe just certify. If you miss, it's fail. Number two, estimate top speed, gradability, acceleration performance using the driving resistance calculation. This one maybe you have related to the lecture from Professor Anki. Okay, for excellent, if you can do it correctly and have the validate data, okay, you get about C if you have a correct method, but you miss about the validation. And F is you miss about the calculation and also validation. Number three, estimate the traction motor specification required. For example, for the torque and power of your traction motors, you have to estimate it. Okay. And number four, estimate energy consumption under driving cycles. For this one, you can do in two ways. You calculate by yourself using the driving cycles method, or you find information for the energy consumption of your benchmark vehicles that use some driving cycle to test. And then you can determine your own estimate value for your cars, okay, based on the benchmark values that come from driving cycles. Okay. That's about the first group, the powertrain. The second group, structure and bodies. Sorry that the criteria is in Thai, but the details is in English. So you can see that there are many details in this one. You can see the mass requirement. Okay, torsional stiffness requirement, bending stiffness requirement, layout of your structure, body in white type. You have to choose what type of structures you will design. Body on chassis or monocoque. Max load case consideration related to the drive condition. It's like you have to state that which load case you will use in your design. You don't need to show any calculation, just explain what kind of load case that you will use in your design. Okay, and the load models. It's about the value of dynamic factors or static factor you will use. Okay, you don't need a lot of calculation. Okay, just a simple one. For suspension, okay, you have to summarize important specification of suspension system from the benchmarking. Then select type and pattern of front and rear suspension for your design. And after that, select wheel and tire. Okay, you have to specify about type, size, and others information that need. And then number four, show the draft layout of your suspensions. You have to sketch the layout. In the conceptual design, I think design specification is one of the important things that you have to deliver, but another one is layout. You have to do the layout of your vehicles in the conceptual design in many views. For example, if you do it in the top views, you can show some information of dimension and packaging. For example, you have wheel like this. Okay, and then you can show like the wheelbase in how many millimeters, or the size of the vehicle for total length, how many meters, the width, in how many meters? Or when you see from side view? Okay, maybe your vehicle is like this, for example. The side view, you can see also information of the wheelbase, the height of your vehicles. You know the ground clearance. Okay, you know wheelbase, same as the top view. Okay, and then you can know inside the vehicle, not only the outside dimensions. For example, for the top view, you should show where's batteries. For example, if your battery is here, you should put the dimension of the component inside the vehicles as much as you know. Because you have to make sure that it can be fit into the vehicles that you design. Because you have limit space, limit dimension. For example, if you just say that, okay, we have battery at the middle, and the battery size depends on capacity, and then also depend on range that you need. If you go like 400 kilometer range compared to 1 kilometer battery range, the size of battery here is quite different. So you have to make sure that the packaging you make is practical. You have to show that your batteries here have enough space to accumulate for the kilowatt hours that need for this range design. Okay, and the layout for the drive trains. Okay, this is front wheel drive, rear wheel drive, or all wheel drive. Where is motors? The motor can be like center motors or in hub or hub wheel motors, and where you put that motors. Okay, and how is the seat in the vehicles? You also should do the layout too, to see the space you have inside the cockpit. Okay, maybe you have battery here. You have seat over the floor that integrate with the battery pack. You have the front wheel drive with the motor at the front. You have to know where is the motors, how we drive the wheels. You have to put if the major part into the layout. Layout should have at least 3 wheels. First is a top view. Second is a side view. And the last one is a front view. You should also show the front view of your vehicles. For the front view, you can see some details of the front. For example, where is your motors, how it's related to the differential gears and the drive shaft, and where is your steering design? Oh, sorry. Where's your steering? Something like this. So you should show it with the seat inside the cockpit, something like this. So you have to show in 3 views, top, side, and front. At least 3 views. Okay, and we have the criteria, the rubric for the brake system. Okay, it's almost same as the suspension. Okay, I think I should explain about the layout of the suspension. You can see that in the layout of these vehicles, I didn't put suspension into the layout yet. You should put it in the layout too. because the suspension will interfere with some part if you didn't consider about this at the first hand. For example, here you may need space for the double wishbone or not. Where is a wishbone? Where is a spring? How can you see in other wheels? How about the rear wheel suspension? Maybe it's a twist beam or something, or double wishbone or multi-link. So you have to draw it. For this one, it can be hand sketch, okay, not yet CAD need. But for the system design and component design, you should do the CAD, okay. For the brake, you do the same. You have to summarize the important specification of brake system from the benchmark, and then select the type and pattern of the front and rear brake for your design. And then specify how to implement brake proportioning in your design. For example, if you use such as a proportioning valve, or you use something like electronic brake distribution control, you should state that which one you will use. Okay, and then you have to show the layout of the brake system. That means a brake circuit. So you have to draw like from your master cylinders. You have to circuit. How is this circuit look like? Okay, is this a diagonal type or front and rear or 4-wheel and 2 wheels or something? You have to draw the layout of the brake circuit. Okay, and the last one is about the steering and vehicle integration. Okay, for the first step, you have to set up specification with the justification. Okay, and then based on benchmark again. Okay, and number 2, layout of the system. Okay, you have to lay out for the steering mechanism and geometry, and then also the position of the steering system in the relative to other systems, and have to clarify the steering system that this is no interfere with other components. Number 3, have to select the main components of the steering systems. And then number 4, recheck that the specification can be met by the component select. Okay, and for system integration, it's about integrate system together. This one has to work with many groups. Okay, it is a guideline. First one, set up the specification with justification. This is I think it looks same as the steering system, but it is used for system that integrate together. Okay, so you use this rubric as your guideline for your conceptual design works. Okay, which parts you don't have you have to do and not miss it. Okay, and when we score, we will look at this rubric that you meet all of the requirement or not. Any question about this rubric for the conceptual design works? You can download it from the My Course View.ไม่มีเนาะเงียบเลย Okay, if not, I would proceed to the suspension design review. Okay, next for the suspension design review. Oh, okay, before that, the assignment for benchmark, yeah? And the conceptual design is a group works. But for benchmarking, since you have many people, you have to do some works to ensure that all of you have work in benchmarking. Because you have like 9 people doing the benchmarking together. Maybe if you have to choose many items to benchmark. Okay, this is a group works. Okay, for the suspension, it's based on what you learned from vehicle dynamics class last semester. We refer to the lectures slides and materials that we use in the vehicle dynamics class. But we will add on some more tools and information here. The step to design the suspension is first, starting from selecting suspension type and pattern for the front and rear of your vehicles. It's been done in the part of conceptual already. Okay, we should decide here in the conceptual design. For example, type is about independent or dependent or semi-independent. Okay, pattern is about, for example, what kind of suspension you use, like double wishbone, or McPherson strut, or you have like multi-link. All this is independent. But if you choose dependent, the pattern will be like Hotchkiss, okay, or the solid axle with leaf spring, or the four-link suspension, and so on. Okay. This side can be the semi or tailing arms. For semi-independent, it's like the Dion suspension. Okay, you have learned it already. So I had to select this in the selection of suspension type and patterns. So you have to consider about your cars as overall. The use case, characters, your positioning of these vehicles. You decide the sport cars or the coupe EV with in the D segment. You have to think about suspension that give you the very good performance in handlings than good in ride comfort or good in the low cost, you don't need to do the low cost. You have to do the high performance. But if you design for the family cars that not need very high performance in handling, same as the sport cars, but it need more balance in handling and ride comfort, and also affordable price, you should choose the suspension that can give you that to fulfill that requirements. And if you also need the space in your vehicles, it's like when you consider Toyota's CHRs and Corolla Cross. It's used the same platform, okay, TNGA. I forgot about the code, but it's the same platform. They use the suspension at the front as a double wishbone. Oh, so sorry, McPherson strut. Okay, same for Cross and CHR. They developed CHR first based on the same platform of the Altis. Okay, but CHR characteristic is more sport than Altis, right? So they designed the rear suspension as double wishbone. But for the Cross, character of this SUV is more in the family's use and needs more space in the rear part of the vehicles to give you bigger back seat. So they changed from the wishbone to be twist beam in Cross in the rear suspension. Okay, so you can see that when you select the type, it depends on many reasons. Okay, your car characteristics, your target, the market target, who is your customer, what they need. And sometimes suspension, we have the conflict with the cockpit or the packaging or space in your vehicle. So you have to select the one that appropriate to your overall design of your vehicles. Okay, this is the first step is in the conceptual design part. Once you get this, you do some layout, as I show you before. You should put, you should know the space that you need for the suspension at the front and rear. For example, if you choose the twist beam and McPherson strut for the rear and the front suspension, you need to know the space that occupied by these components of suspension in your vehicles. Then you can know that other parts or equipment that's installed inside or beside to the suspension part is interfere or doesn't have any interfere problem or not. Okay. Oh, one more thing that in the layout of your conceptual design should do is about the location of CG in 3 dimensions. We need to know CG in 3 dimensions, both in X, Y, and Z. We need to know the CG height as well. Because in some details and system design, you need to know the CG height. Okay, when you decide the brake proportioning, you need to know CG height. And since we don't have this car yet, you need to set the target for the CG first. Then you can use that to design and evaluate your design later. Okay. Then after you select the suspension, do some layout analysis, then you move to the next one. This is about the geometry design. What is geometry design about? Oh. Okay, what is your geometry design or suspension about? It's about, for example, if you choose McPherson strut, you will need to decide where to put the strut. How's the angle of the strut? And how about the control arms? Okay, it's about the coordinates of the major point. For example, this is the point that we mounted to the strut top in the vehicle's structures. Oh, sorry. Okay, this one is a mounting point to the vehicle structures. And this point is a connecting point to the knuckles. In the geometry design, you need to know exactly where is this coordinate, X, Y, Z. Okay, this one as well. Okay, because different geometries give you different suspension performance in terms of handling and also comfort. Because this will be used to control the movement of the wheel. Okay, this suspension control the movement of the wheels and tires. Okay, and for this part, we have the supporting programs. That's called suspension analyzers. Okay, in the suspension analyzers, you can use it to analyze your geometries of the suspension. Okay, you can know many parameters after you put the coordinates of the mounting point of suspension into the system. You can simulate to know the value of many things. For example, roll center, and how is the alignment. Okay, when you have, for example, the roll angles for these degrees, how many alignment change in your suspension, in camber, in caster, in toe, you can check it from the programs. Okay, so you may have to select your target for roll center, then change the geometry until you reach to your roll center target. And you have to check that your roll center is not moved too much. Because when you have the roll occurs, when your vehicle rolls, it can change the geometry of the suspensions, and the roll center can change the position. We need to check that how is the roll center changed during the movement of the vehicle, such as low motion. How it's moved in the horizontal or in vertical. If it moves too much, it's not good. We have to make sure that it moves in our boundaries that are acceptable. Okay, and also the alignment as well. If some alignment change too much, it's not good as well. You also have to think about the anti-sort, anti-dive. Anti-sort, maybe you have to think about anti-lift as well. Okay, so you have to think about this in your, mainly you have to think about this in assessment analysis in the geometries. Okay. Okay, let's go back to my course view. You can see that I put 3 links for the suspension in the lecture slide folders. First, let's see at the additional materials for suspension and chassis design. It's a link to the website. And this website can give you some ideas to refresh your memories. You remind you about the suspension that you have learned. You can read by yourself. Okay, and I think they give enough information for the review of the suspension for this website. It has 4 pages. Okay, this one is quite interesting. You can see the section to show the upright or the knuckles with the upright is yellows in yellow colors. We can call it upright or knuckles. It has spindle in the green colors with the wheel hub. Okay, and then lock and then connect to the brake disc, and then the brake calipers and tie is not shown here. So you can see this one may be related on the racing cars or formulas, but some of the concept is still same, not different much from the passenger cars. Pattern of suspension may be a little bit different in terms of maybe they use mainly the double wishbone. Okay, you can see the upper wishbone, lower wishbones, and the toe and steering link that used to control the steerings to rotate the wheel. Because in the steering link, it can push and pull, and then you can rotate the upright about the axis. Then you can rotate your wheels. Okay, and then you also can see the patterns of suspension, how to check, how to not move. Oh, okay. Steering as well also include, and also about sprung weight that's concerned with the ride comfort and handling of the vehicles. Okay. It's about the alignment change. Okay, so you can review here for the first link. about the basic of suspension design. Also, we have some geometry of the suspension as well here. Secondly, you can have another one that explain about okay. The second items in the lecture slide I put is about the source for suspension analyzer program to download to get the manual and the tutorials. You click it, you can see the website that I put in this page for the information. You can go to this main website to see how the suspension analyzer program look like. Okay, first page may be a little bit hard to find the information you need. Okay, so I also put the second link. Okay, you can see link for manuals. When you click on that, you can get the manual for the suspension analyzer program. You can learn step by step by yourself. Okay, inside you can see that it has program like this. Then you can set up for parameters in your suspension, and you can see about parameter that related to what you set. Okay, and also you can change in some part. Okay, you can get through these manuals. It teaches you step by step. Okay, there are many data inside, but if you need shortcut, you can watch the videos. Okay, here you can see the link for the program download. You can download the program from this link, and then we have the tutorial videos. The first one comes from the originally from the manufacturers, from the session analyzers companies that can split into a small YouTube channel, YouTube clip here. Okay, I show you some videos. It's a
starting at the main screen, Analyzer
Okay,
today.
show you how to use the
And
programs.
here you can see we're starting at the main screen. And the suspension analyzer comes in 3 different versions. What we're going to start at also,
Okay. We have some list for two
value
files.
loaded in right here. So there you have inputs. Some with a cal.
Okay, so you can do it by yourself. For the videos that I post in the lecture slide for the how to use suspension analyzer programs. And the last one is a document for suspension spring design. You can download it, and when you download it, you get one of the textbook. Okay, that good for vehicle handlings and racings, called the race car vehicle dynamics. Okay, like this. And there are many chapters inside. Okay, they have 23 chapters. But I will not ask you to read all of this. So I put some note here that you should focus on chapter 16. Okay, what is chapter 16 about? Let's see, this one. 16 is about the ride and roll rates. So from this number 16, you can get the requirement for the ride comfort of your vehicles, how to design for the spring stiffness to meet your okay, 16. Okay, we find 16. Okay, this one is about ride and roll rates. So you know about examples with calculation for ride. Okay, you can follow this one step by step. Okay. Okay. Today I will not go much in details about this. You can read by yourself later for the group that design for the suspension, because it has a very implicit example here. Okay, so in the my course, I guide you which part you should read. Okay, you can use sample in which part. Oh, this one is copied twice. Sorry. And then for the damper, you can design from the commercials on shelf in the market. Then we can tune it to match with our vehicles. Okay, so mainly we mainly use chapter 16 in the textbook that I gave you. Okay, so please study it and try to follow the examples when you decide. Okay, so any question about the suspension design review? Actually, you need to study it in the materials that I gave you. Okay, and during the weeks that we design for the system design, I will comment and guide you when I see your works. Any question about this part so far? Maybe not. But maybe you still not have experience with this yet. Maybe after you do it, you will have some question, and then let's ask. Okay, so today, starting from the vehicles that you decide to be your design assignment, then you have to make a group in your small group in your group, okay, for the task work. Okay, which system that you will work for, and do the assignment for benchmarking and conceptual design. Then next week, we will see your first draft of your conceptual design. Please submit your assignment work in the assignment. Actually, we should set up the group in the my course view. I'm not sure you can do it or not. If I have to be the one who do it, please inform your group member to me. So I will do it in the my course view. And I will open the assignment for you to submit it. Okay, before we meet next time in next Friday. Okay. มีคำถามอะไรไหมเอ่ย
ให้ส่งรายชื่อสมาชิกทางไหนครับ
เดี๋ยวผมทำเป็น assignment ขึ้นมาก็ได้ให้คุณส่งเดี๋ยวเอาเลยดีกว่า group members and system นะก็คือบอกเลยว่าใครจะทำ system ไหนในกลุ่มคุณมาเลยเนาะแล้วก็เราใช้เบอร์กลุ่มตามที่แบ่งไปแล้วกันนะ number of group นี่คือตามวันนี้เลยนะแต่ว่าชื่อก็ตั้งมาได้เลยนะครับโอเคผมเสร็จแล้วเนาะก็จะส่งในไปอยู่ไหนแล้วว่า design group members นะครับส่งมาเนาะแล้วก็ถ้าสมมุติว่าเราเซตกรุ๊ปไม่ทันเนี่ยอาจจะให้ส่งไอตัว benchmark กับ conceptual design ใน assignment ที่เขียนว่าเป็น vehicle benchmarking / conceptual design ไปก่อนก็ได้ครับนะถ้าไม่ทันจริงก็ส่งนี้ไปก่อนเลยครับก็สัปดาห์หน้านะ 9 โมงปุ๊บก็คือเดี๋ยวจะให้3กลุ่มเนี่ยพรีเซนต์ก็อาจจะผมจะใช้วิธีเวียนแล้วกันเนาะคือบางครั้งก็เอากลุ่มนี้ขึ้นก่อนครั้งถัดไปก็อีกกลุ่มขึ้นก่อนให้มันเวียนกันนิดนึงจะได้ไม่ใช่ว่าไอ้กลุ่มเดิมพูดก่อนเสมอเนาะ แล้วก็วิธีการก็คือเราจะให้คุณเนี่ยพรีเซนต์จนจบก่อนแล้วเราจะคอมเมนต์ผมกับอาจารย์สาหดจะช่วยกันคอมเมนต์เลยนะครับเพราะฉะนั้นเรามี3กลุ่มเนี่ยโดยกลมๆก็คือมีกลุ่มละ1 ชั่วโมงสำหรับการพรีเซนต์และการคอมเมนต์นะครับเพราะฉะนั้นก็น่าจะเพียงพอสำหรับ conceptual design แหละเพราะว่าคุณควรจะน่าไม่พรีเซนต์นานเกินไปอยู่แล้วเนาะก็สัก15-20 นาทีก็น่าจะโอเคแล้วผมก็คอมเมนต์ต่อนะครับทำมาเป็น PowerPoint เลยเนาะแล้วก็ใส่สตอรี่ตอนแรกเยอะหน่อยแล้วกันเรื่องเนี่ยทำไมคุณถึงเลือกว่าต้องเป็น target แบบนี้ลดแบบนี้เนี่ยช่วงแรกพยายามใส่แนวคิดให้มันดู convince นิดหนึ่งนะครับเพราะอาจารย์สาหดแกก็ยังไม่รู้คุณทำอะไรใช่ไหมให้กับอาจารย์เขาดูว่าคอยตามนิดหนึ่งนะครับแล้วค่อยเข้าไปสู่ตัว benchmark แล้วก็ conceptual design โอเคก็เราไม่มีกลุ่มไลน์ใช่ไหมเนี่ยคือเพื่อความรวดเร็วในการถามคำถามในช่วงที่คุณดีไซน์เนี่ยผมคิดว่าอาจจะต้องทำกลุ่มไลน์เนาะเดี๋ยวผมทำกลุ่มไลน์แล้วผมจะใส่เป็น QR code ที่เอาไว้เพิ่มกลุ่มไลน์ไว้ในนี้แล้วกันเนาะเดี๋ยวทำเลยแล้วกันไม่ทันแล้วเร็วทุกทีเดี๋ยวนะMVD โอเค I made the QR code already assignment นี่มันใส่ไฟล์ได้เนาะโอเคโอเคก็วันนี้ก็อาจจะเท่านี้ก่อนแล้วกันนะครับเดี๋ยวผมใส่ไอ้กลุ่มไลน์เข้าไปนิดนึงนะครับจะได้ไม่เสียเวลาเราก็มีคำถามเพิ่มเติมก็เดี๋ยวเราสื่อสารกันทางไลน์ด้วยแล้วกันเนาะเพราะว่า Microsoft อาจจะไม่ได้respond ได้ไวเท่าไลน์นะครับโอเคดังนั้นเดี๋ยวไอตัวเลคเชอร์ครั้งนี้จะมีเรคคอร์ดไว้นะครับเดี๋ยวผมจะใส่เข้าไปใน Microsoft ด้วยเนาะโอเคนะครับถ้างั้นวันนี้ผมขอเลิกประมาณนี้แล้วกันนะครับ